Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do a lightning review of Professor Noggin's World of Pets, which is for ages 7 and up, 2 or more players, because you could play this in a group. Now this is, when we've been waiting to get this version for a while, and it's been in our Amazon cart for years, because there actually there's like almost 30 or more of these, and we have 16 of these. So I'm going to show you, as part of this review, that there's different production now compared to the old ones, and I'll show you the difference here in a moment. But first, let's take a look at what this involves. It's a trivia game, and it's the first to score so many cards. And I'm laying out these as samples of what you have pictures here, and there's 30 of these cards, and they'll all be stacked up, okay? And there'll be someone when it's their turn, they'll roll the die. So Julie's going to roll the die, and I'm going to the left of her. I'm going to flip up the card. Now she knows that it's about pot-bellied pigs, so that gives her a little bit of help.
Oh, they're so cute.
Okay. Now, what does it look like on the other side? Because I don't want to show it on camera, because Julie's going to answer that question. You'll see that there's a student side and a scholar side. You use the student side for younger players, or players who are not as knowledgeable. And the scholar side, like for me, if we were doing the president's game, I would definitely do the scholar side because I'm a social studies teacher, whereas my sons and Julie would get the student side.
Yes.
So the point is, Julie rolled a 1, and then I'm going to show you on camera, I'm going to read the question to her. What is number 1 here? Number 1 says, and a lot of them can be true or false or short answers, but on the student side, you'll definitely have more true and false.
Yes.
Whereas on the scholar side, you'll have sometimes multiple choice. Okay, like many cats, pot-bellied pigs enjoy being picked up and cuddled. So is that true or false?
True.
Let's see. False.
Oh.
Okay, so Julie didn't win that card.
No, I did not.
So that's part of the game, is to...
Because I'd want to pick it up and cuddle it.
Part of the game is that if you don't win it, you put it back underneath. And that card, when it comes up again, that side might be rolled. So it encourages students, or players, I should say, to remember what was previous questions. So that goes underneath. And then eventually, again, I just had this here just to show you. Let's say I won this many and Julie won. Well, she definitely beat me, okay? Whoever has the most cards. It doesn't give tie-breaking rules, so I guess you share the victory. But there is one other thing that can happen. It's called Professor Noggin's Choice. I don't know where it is in here. But it allows you to steal a card from a player.
There it is.
So how many cards you've won is public knowledge. So let's say I know Julie has 10, and I have 5, and my son has 8. I would take one from Julie, so that I could make it, at least allow my son to be in the running. So it's the first to so many cards. After the whole deck is won, you could reduce the playing time and just say the first to 5. You don't have to play the whole deck, and that's how you can modify this game.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look. Well, actually, when we get to the certain part of the rating here.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go through all these categories. Is this a fun game to play?
Oh, yeah. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, we take this out at times, even though we're, big-time hobby gamers. When we just want to play something light,
Yeah.
and
Not
when
too
we're
thinky.
when we're in the mood for a trivia game. And it's fun for students, which I'm going to get to the educational merit here. The educational merit is very high. The theme, well, every game is thematic, whether it be pets, or U.S. presidents, or history,
science,
or biology, or
Yep.
science. There's so many categories, okay? Eventually, I'll show them all, but we're going to talk about pets right now. Art, well, that's where we're going to get some differences here. They have photos now.
Yeah.
Some people like that. Let me show you I would have preferred the old edition. This is the problem with us waiting to get it. The old pet version, they were pictures like this, like you see in the. I like the art.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the pets were drawn like this?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I like the art better.
Yeah.
I think it's more charming. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like a what do they call eyewitness book? Now, kids like eyewitness books. Don't get me wrong.
True.
Okay. Maybe that's what they're trying to go for here, but
that could be.
I prefer the old style of art. The pictures are fine. If you've never gotten a Professor Noggin game before, you might not care. But for us, we like the old style.
Yeah, I do.
Oops. Okay, so what's next here? components.
Components.
Now the card stock is thinner.
Oh.
So here is the,
Wow.
it is slightly thinner.
Just a little bit.
It's stiffer cardboard. See, this might be 18-point font. Not font, but there's a thickness of press sheets. This might be an 18 or 20.
Oh, I see.
This one's probably a 24.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I know that because I remember I used to publish games.
Right, right.
So they went to a thinner card stock, and this has a thicker core. So this is more stiff. This will hold up more. This is more flexible.
Gotcha.
So it's okay for the price point. This is fine, but again, the old version is better. Let's take a look now at
Complexity.
complexity. It's easy.
Yep.
The only thing that's missing is tie-breaking rules, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Playing time, like I said, you don't have to play with the whole deck. You can just play the first to 5 cards, which in a 3-player game, you'll only be playing 15 cards.
Yeah.
Or you can say the first to 3 cards. And you can play this on a document camera in Teams. So that's part of the educational thing. This is one of the few games that you can play with a whole class.
That's cool.
And you can have them write it down on whiteboards. You know, if you have the dry erase whiteboards,
Oh, yeah.
everybody can play. And you say, okay, you can have somebody come up, get them out of their seat, roll the die, and it could be this is a 1, 2, 3, but you could, you can still roll it on the document camera. Again, this is the old dice. The old dice are even better quality too. This is a cheap wood. This is more. If this is wood, it's laminated. But you have a student roll it, then you read it to the whole class. Say, okay, class, write it on your whiteboard. Or you can have them on teams. Teams of if you have your desk group together, teams with a team of 4, and you have, let's say, 6 teams in your classroom. You can have the students take turns or talk about it with each other, and they only have one whiteboard per team. So again, this is one of the games you can play on a document camera.
Cool.
And you could even do it through Zoom. Okay, playing time, like I said, you could adjust it. What do you think about the age audience? What do you think about it being a 7-year-old?
I think it's appropriate.
Okay, could a 7-year-old read it?
No. Well, if they're a good reader, maybe, but I don't think so.
No.
Because that's only what, first grade? Second grade?
First
First
yeah.
grade.
So
I would think by first grade they could read at least the
they
student.
won't. They won't be able, they won't have the vocabulary. They'd have to be a high-level reader. So, could a 7-year-old answer the questions? Yes, but they would need an adult to assist.
So they could
with the
team up
reading.
with a parent or an adult that's playing the game.
Right. So if I was a teacher reading to my class, sure.
Right.
And then I'd put on the document camera, and you'd have some kids pick up on the words.
Right.
I'd have that right there, so you'd read it out loud. Well, you just have to cover this part up.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
But you cannot. A 7-year-old cannot play this independently. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I've had high school students play these games independently, especially this game in my social studies class.
I would hope they'd be able to read it.
I think a 4th or 5th grader could do it if they're independent readers. 3rd grader would be challenged. They'd have to be a high-level third grade reader. Maybe 4th grade could read these. I'd have to do a reading analysis of this. So age-wise, you have to, a 7-year-old could participate, but not be able to play independently. Design and mechanics, what do you think as a trivia game?
I think it's good. I think it's fun. It's not real complicated. They don't ask super hard questions. And either you're going to know the answer or you're not, and it's okay if you don't, because then you're learning. So that's what I like about it, is I might get it wrong, but it'd be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So you learned something.
Yeah, so the design is fine. Like I said, the only complaint is the no tie-breaking rule.
Okay.
And sometimes with Professor Noggin, when it comes up, you can get hurt feelings when you steal a card.
True.
You don't have to play with that. In fact, I've told some students, don't play with that. When that comes up, re-roll the die.
Exactly.
Because I don't want kids to get
You don't
get
want
their
to get
feelings hurt.
Exactly.
So you can remove that. So learning the rules easy. Now, educational merit, I've already talked about how you can play this. And what's nice about this is a trivia game. And we reviewed a game recently, Trekking Through History. This is what I mean by having a game that I can take for a unit on the presidents, and it would tie into the standards, and I'd have no problem with all kids playing it in class. Some games are trivia where it's enrichment, where it doesn't have enough connections, where you have it as something they do when they're done with their work.
Gotcha.
This game, you can make part of your lessons and have an objective built around it. And there's you can do an animals unit, and so this would tie into especially when they do it in first grade, they'll research an animal.
Yeah.
You can tie this into that. So this is a game where you can have objectives on the board, everybody playing the game, and your supervisor, your evaluator walks in, they will have no problem as to why you're playing it.
Yep.
And what I've done too is I've taught lessons on how to make your own Professor Noggin games as to study for the final at the middle school and high school level. I've taught teachers how to do this, and even done it at national conferences where what I do is I have the teachers in the training play Professor Noggin. I say, all right, now you're going to create your own Professor Noggin game. This is what you do with your students. You say for the quarter test, or the final, you list all the standards topics that you covered for the year. And you have students sign up for those topics. So let's say I'm in a science class and we talked about weather was one topic. Let's say geology was another. And then maybe you break those down further. So kids would sign up for those topics, have to create a game on those topics that review for the final. And they play. So now they're figuring out what things to put in the game. Then they play each other's games and they're studying for the final.
That's awesome.
So this has been done at schools. This is not just me imagining this. This has been done by multiple teachers across multiple schools. Professor Noggin is one delivery system, meaning the students don't have to make a card game, but this is a game that students can make successfully. They can also do a board game and other types, but this is a good delivery system for that type of study format. So this will always be in my collection as a parent, but also as a teacher I use these games, and I've used them at the prison too for enrichment, for rewards. So remember, we used to play this with the boys. They enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our rating. Okay. So for me, I would say an 8, not only as a parent, but as a teacher. And as a teacher, I would probably put it as a 10.
A parent, I'd say 8.
Yeah. So as a teacher, 10, because I will always have this in my bag of tricks, so to speak, as curriculum instruction tools. As a parent, as an 8, because there always will be times when you feel like playing a trivia game. I don't want to play Trivia Pursuit. It's too long.
No.
It's too difficult. Because I can pick different topics. Let us know in the comments if you want us to go over the other 16 that we have.
Yeah.
You can buy what your child's interested in. If your child is interested in dinosaurs, they have a dinosaur one.
Yep.
Or in sports, you can get the sports one.
Yep.
And it promotes reading, and it's it's competitive, but not so competitive that you feel like you're going to make anybody upset.
Yeah.
Because the cards will come around, so it encourages memory.
I agree.
All right. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. We'll hope to see you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.